Hey guys, what's up? We're back. So it is Saturday, about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and it is race day. So last night we worked on the sprint car a little bit, didn't do any video there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to mount the MR Customs sprint car body. It was a little bit more than what I could do in the time period that I had. Plus, I want to do it right, represent our boys well. So we ended up putting the other body back. So, all right. So as you can see, we went ahead and put the other body back on. Sprint car, cage, everything, front bumper is complete. We went ahead and refreshed the wrap. We had another wrap. We installed it, get freshened up a little bit. We got the SJD MR Customs body late model ready, and we're not really sure what other cars or what classes are going to be available. So we're going to take the MR Customs B6 based street stock. I really love this thing. I think it looks really cool. So we also have tires. We went ahead, these are all the tires that we've burned through at Indy in over maybe a month. It's quite a bit. But the rules for four-way Speedway is that you cannot dope tires, meaning you can clean them, but you can't add any kind of tire conditioner to them. So we already had a lot of tires that were scrubbed in, raced before, that have plenty of thread. We cleaned them up with some Simple Green, and we went ahead and doused them down with our preference of tire dressing. So yeah, so you're probably like, how does that work? You can't tire dope, but you dope them. Well, yes and no. We doped them. I put them in the bags. When you put them in the bags, it absorbs them, breaks the rubber down, and then they're nice and sticky. So I have a lot of sets with me, so I can either run one set each round or just re-clean them with Simple Green, and it'll get them nice and sticky. And we also have our tire warmers that we can take with us, and then we'll just try to get the most out of the tires. So, but the rule is over there is that once you go and before you race, a lot of times, especially the big races over there, you have to run your car across a blue rag, and if it leaves any kind of prints of tire prints, then you're dope and it's illegal. So we've worked out really good how we do this. So it's not our first time there, but we're excited. Let's check out our OGL bag ready to go. All right, so we got the essentials: pit mat, radio, parts, tools, oil, stands, Simple Green, batteries. Up here we have all of our power tools, calipers, and whatnot. So yeah, really nice setup. Anybody ever consider traveling, OGL is the way to go. So love it. And of course we use our J Concepts bag as a pit bag, and hose our charger. So yeah, so we're pretty much ready to go. Like I said, we're gonna take the wife's Jeep, load it up, gonna share the miles. So we're gonna take the Jeep, load it up, and then we'll be headed north. Northwest, maybe. I don't know. We're going to Kevin's house, so we'll see you on the road. Pretty much made it here to Kevin's house. Got everything loaded up in the truck. Switch over from the Jeep to the truck, so 2 hours, probably 2 hours to Abilene, Texas. We'll see you out there. All right, guys, shortly after leaving Kevin's house, unfortunately, we got some really bad news, and we'll touch base on that later. But pretty much as soon as we got to the track, we ended up setting up the pit spots and then charging batteries. As you can see here, I'm putting tires on the car. After the tires were put on, batteries charged, I was more concerned about making laps with the sprint car since we had changed the chassis on it. It had been the most changes done to the car. So we ended up making a couple of laps. I felt the car was a little tight coming in. As you can tell from last weekend, we had the Kimber link left long. We didn't change that. So what I ended up doing is we ended up switching back over, giving it a neutral setup on the front end. We ended up putting the right front in the center hole for the inner camber link, put the washer underneath it, the spacer, and then after any time that you adjust that, obviously it's going to mess up your camber. So we go over to the pit board. Kevin had his pit board out, and then we measured out. Make sure we set it to where we want it, and I usually go, I think it's -2 to 3 degrees. After that, we got our pit bucket set up for tires. Washed it out, cleaned it out, put fresh Simple Green in it, and then we're ready to go. All right, for the late model, we pretty much had to put together. I didn't get any chance to do any runs with the late model, it being not too far off, and we didn't do any kind of radical changes to it. I went ahead and actually Kevin reminded me that we had the timing put into the ESC. Along with the timing that's already set. The motor's tuned at a certain degrees on the can, but we also added additional timing to the ESC to help keep up with pretty much Jordan. So as you can see, I pulled out the little Wi-Fi module for the ESC, tapped it in, you control it through your app on your phone, and all I did was pretty much just took the timing out, which it had 12 degrees in it. Which I thought it had more, but whatever. So yeah, so we just put that back in, put the body back on, and ready for round one. Whichever one, okay. A little tight off.
Sir, I actually brought my 13.5 car out.
What's that?
I put a 13.5 to go to Muskogee.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a 10.5 in mine, and it's a little much. All right, guys. First round, first race of the evening is open sprint car. Obviously, we're just running a 10.5 because that's what we had in it last week from Indy. So 10.5 with this little short track should be plenty of power, if not maybe a little too much, but we have it in blinking mode, no additional timing other than the timing that's tuned into the motor on the can. So you see me making a couple of laps, and obviously we only made a little bit of test hits or test runs prior, before practice was shut down. So I'm still trying to get a hold of the track, trying to get familiarized with it. And you'll see me trying to run a little bit higher just to see how wide the groove is. And you'll see me spin out a couple of times because that's where you don't want to be. So yeah, so you see Kevin got it dialing it in. We took care of the rotation in, so it turns in good. But coming out of the turn, it feels tight. You hear me, Kevin, telling me that it's tight. Well, that means coming out of the turn, it turns good coming into the turn, but coming out, it kind of wants to drift up towards the wall. So that's what we call tight out. So Kevin will make adjustments to the springs. We'll make a couple more laps. He's got me set up pretty good, and we know how high we can go, where not to go, and we'll start first round.
No L6 or county. My status as the weather started.
All over the place.
All right, so we're up first, and only having 3 cars in this race, the main goal was to be consistent, try to lay down some good laps, as many laps as possible, as quick as possible. Car feels pretty good. I'm even driving a little higher than what I was in practice, so car feels really good, a lot of forward bite. Still a little tight off, but we're maintaining. Like I said, we're still trying to get a hold of the track. We ain't got much time on it, but overall the track feels really good. Shout out to Kevin for all the trackside tuning. We end up running 51 laps in this race, so check it out.
paint. Corey 45, they was 45. Watch out 1 and 2, watch out 1 and 2.
Holy, I don't know how this
Right
is.
there. Coming up on halfway, we got Curtis. Corey and Mike started about 50 on pace.
Oh,
Going down to 4.
sorry about that.
Coming up on 1 minute, Curtis, Corey, Mike.
1 minute left.
So, 51 on pace. 70 sprint cars, get ready. 70 sprint cars, get ready.
45 seconds left.
Okay.
Thirty seconds left.
Watch out, that's good.
Trying to get out of the way.
That's all good.
15 seconds left.
Good spot.
Alright, everybody. Keep going to the party lead. Alright, Trevor, you're down. Corey, you're down. And Mike, you're down. Alright.
All right, up next we have is the late model.
No
Now, granted, when we got there, the only car that I really got to test run was the sprint car. That was my most concern, like I mentioned earlier, because we had the most adjustments made, more than one, which was a new chassis and a new setup. So, really good to learn the track with the late model. It's a completely different feel. You'll see me here saying to Kevin that the ass feels loose, and it's just typically is okay, but it just didn't feel like it was in the track. It was more like on the track, you know. It was not a little too loose coming out. So obviously I have Kevin make some adjustments and it gets better. Ultimately, we still have the same, pretty much the same setup almost as we did at Indy. We'll make some more laps, get the little bit better feeling of it, and then I remember that my throttle was really punchy because we had timing in it and we wanted the timing to engage sooner at Indy with the high bite. So you'll see me here later on pulling up to turn 4 at the very end, and I'll turn my throttle speed down, which kind of helps the transition of the throttle coming out of the corner so it won't be so aggressive and a little bit smoother. So I'll also go ahead, I'll turn down my endpoint for my throttle because we are way overpowered. We have an 8.0 in the car, which 10.5 is already a little much. The sprint car was lean, so yeah, our power band is a little off, so we feel kind of weird. So we'll try to do the best we can with trackside adjustments and run our race. All right, this is our late model race. As you can see by now that I'm having a couple of issues. Like I mentioned earlier, the car felt a little loose, especially the tail end of the car. Coming out of the turn, especially really loose coming off. Kevin made the adjustments that he could on Trackside. I made adjustments to the radio. Overall, we're still not going to be able to deny the fact that we're overpowered and we have it turned down. But at the end of the day, you know, I'll make some more mistakes here in this race, but we'll learn from it and do what we can. At the end of the day, we're out how to drive the cars, having some fun. Although we may have an issue right now, by far this car has been the most comfortable that I've ever had in a while when it comes to late model. So we'll just enjoy driving and trying to get the best results we can with this race. Sorry about that, Jet.
So on 1 and 2, clear. Coming up on halfway, we got Serta, Mike, Jet, Turner. Clear.
Probably didn't even count that. 'Whoop! Something come off my car. Looks like a spur gear flew off the car.
Might need that.
All right, coming up on 3.5, we got Jet Well, Mike and Gunner. Everything Gunner's up. We got Jet, Serta, Mike.
1 minute left.
1 minute to go.
Seconds left.
5, 3 and 4.
Try to squeeze in there. Sorry about that, Jet.
30 seconds left. Seconds left.
All right, keep going till I call your name. Watch out, 1 and 2. Watch out, 1 and 2. All right. Keep going.
Yeah.
Serta, Jet.
All right, that's part one of our road trip to Fort Speedway. Let me know what y'all think about the different camera angles and the voiceover on the races. So it's like I mentioned before, I was gonna try to do something different, so like that it's real time and actually my information is accurate as possible. And then you get to see what I see. So shout out to Kevin for the trackside adjustments and the other camera. So it was really putting in some work. So y'all stay tuned and we'll see y'all for part 2. Peace.